Alex, your tour guide here. Um, it's Friday, and I went on live yesterday in anticipation of going on late or not coming on tonight at all. Uh, so plans got kind of thrown out of whack today, and so I was gonna end work a little early and uh, meet up with my family and take my kid trick or treating at the mall. Turns out uh, an issue came up at work. I had to stay longer. And so by the time I got off work, my wife had already, well, we'd communicated, but I basically said I was going to be late. So she was already at the mall. And again, there was like traffic and stuff. So my wife's like, you know what? There's not much parking here. Just why don't I take care of the kid and you just go, get yourself dinner, go home, and just wait for us to get back. So, yeah, I was just also listening to the World Series baseball game on my way back home, but picked up some food, and it ended up being kind of like not that it was a spoiled night, but didn't go as planned. So, yeah, so now, kids sleeping, and just thought I'd come on and finish up the Summer of Superman pickups. And, yesterday I went on and showed off some of the books from the filing cabinet. Um, a lot of like sentimental favorites uh, in yesterday's video, and definitely some of our favorite books in the collection in that video. But this is what I'm showing off. Hey, what's up, Lem? How you doing, man? Um, Basically, what I am going to show. Hey, Zeke the goat. Basically, what I'm going to show off today are the top books in my collection, essentially. These are like keys, better condition kind of books. Well, not all of them. Some of them have their condition issues, but they're the more valuable, I guess, books in my collection, and they're in these top loaders. So definitely, in terms of like uh, the bigger books, I tend to keep my bigger books in the Mylar clear backing board and in a top loader. So these are in terms of these like um, I guess positioning in my collection. These are the ones I kind of covet uh, the most. So let's get into them and see what we got. All right, so we're gonna start off here. Now this is I have two books, so let me just show you the stack I'm gonna go through here. It's a pretty significant stack here. Yes, we picked up all of these this summer. I mean, picked a lot of books up this summer, but yes, all these top loaders are also part of the summer's pickups. Now, there are two books in here that we picked up, but they were part of a prize. And I want to give a shout out to the crew over at Codex Station. I entered one of their like giveaways and I won, and they sent like a small package of 3 or 4 books, and 2 of them are in here. In fact, we're going to start off with one. This is probably the big book from that giveaway, and I picked up a lot of DC Comics Presents this summer, and just kind of fitting that one of the giveaway books would be from that run. But we have, again, a 50th anniversary DC Bullet logo. We got two Bullet logos with two Earths, two Superboys. It's just a two fest here. We got the blue and red DC Bullet logos. We got Superboy Prime, which is his first appearance here, along with Superman. And this is part of that Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. Um, yeah, so really big, huge first appearance. And right now, this book I feel like is a little bit under the radar in terms of um, Superboy Prime's significance. And we really are getting kind of a inkling of who the villain might be for the next Superman sequel, which is Brainiac. But I imagine there's going to be more than Brainiac in terms of what's revealed, right? I just feel like it's too convenient. Like, Gunn has revealed too much about who the antagonist of the next movie is going to be. Like, it was just blatant. Like, he called it like the Man of Tomorrow, and he had an entire sketch, or like, he had storyboards where you saw Brainiac literally in the panel drawings. So that's just way too kind of overt. Almost feels like a feint of hand, right? It's just like, hey, we're showing you who the big baddie is, and we're gonna show you the Lex's, power suit, and we're gonna reveal Brainiac, which leads me to believe, yeah, those elements are there, but in terms of what else they're not showing, which would be the ooh ah factor, right? You're always going to have some kind of big reveal or something major happen. Um, I think Brainiac is just the tip of the iceberg on what they're going to reveal, and my hunch is they're going to do some form of um, like an evil Superman, whether it's Bizarro, whether it's Superboy Prime. Um, I think ultimately that's kind of what we're going to see in terms of the. I mean, we kind of saw it. We saw shades of it, right? Ultraman or whatever. It's basically Superman's genetic material, and they kind of cloned him to a certain degree and programmed him to fight. And then he gets sucked into this other dimensional thing. So we kind of got a hint of it, but I feel like that is gonna that or some form of this is gonna come back. Um, Maybe even General Zod. Who knows? There's just a lot of things you could do with like Kryptonians that Superman could fight. So again, we don't know exactly what's coming, but I just think there's something more there in the second movie than what they've teased so far. All right, so yeah, we picked this up. That is just a nice pickup, a very high grade copy there, so we're happy with that. Next we have Superman, and this is from I got a short box of comics, and this is one of the comics that was gifted to me, and this came from Josh, aka G Lantern Comics, and just want to give a shout out to him. Thanks to him again. Again, a lot of the books here that are like some of the best books in my collection, and the ones I got this summer are from Josh's collection. So uh, here is case in point, Superman 158. This is where some of the Kandorians escape, and they're trying to trade places and put Superman in the bottle, and they would stay out. So, yeah, or they're trying to like bring the city to its full size, bring everybody out of the bottle. Um, Next, we have, I think, the first Silver Age appearance of the Toyman. Toyman's just one of those early Golden Age villains. Kind of really sort of an entertaining story about this guy who uses toys to kind of do crimes and kind of get the best of Superman at times. Well, we have a similar situation here. His toys are kind of controlling. Superman doesn't have control of his bodily functions there. This is what, Superman 182. Again, these are all really decent grade. You know, based on the age of this book, this is like easily a 6.0 in that range. Just a beautiful copy right there. This next one is actually in really good shape. It's just faded because I know the actual the color, what the color is supposed to look like on this. Now the back, I guess, that isn't impacted by the fading as much, but the front, you could tell, is just like, just I think got some sun exposure at some point. It's just really kind of dull and faded, not as colorful. Now, this is a very colorful cover, but my copy here just kind of, again, I think got a little exposed and faded, and the color is just not as vibrant. But the condition is great. Again, another mid-grade. There is like a can or Coke ring on the top there. Somebody put like a glass on there, I guess, or something, but a little bit of wear there. But all in all, now this is really cool. This is one of the key about this is the origin of the Superman Batman team up. The first time they actually like worked together and teamed up. Now, their first appearance is in comic books, and I think it's in World's Finest. Or no, maybe in a Superman comic book, but it's in one of these early Golden Age books. And they meet up and they do things. This is kind of a reprint slash origin, like more context to that. And so they're looking at that first appearance or that origin, and they're kind of adding more context to the story. And that's what you have here, the origin of their first team up. So, kind of cool cover there. All right, we got AJ Bry in the house, 67. All right, and Zeke and Lim are still here. Thanks, guy. All right, this is I was saying how, like, in yesterday's video, I have certain certain things about collecting Superman that are kind of, for me, things that I look for and things that I try, because there's a lot of stuff there to collect in terms of the Superman, right? You kind of have to almost go after some specifics. Like for me, like a lot of the artists are what I collect, um, but also they're like themes, like Super Baby is a big thing that I collect. I also like the Batman Superman team ups. You know, those are fun. And the love triangles. You know, like Lana Lang, Lois Lane, or Wonder Woman and Lois Lane. Anytime you have Superman kind of caught in between love interests, that's pretty cool. But this one is really, this is the first appearance of the Super Sons, the sons of Superman. Now, we do have Super Baby, you know, like Superboy when he's very young, but we never really get like the children where, like, you know, they're kids of Batman and Superman until this issue. And it's really interesting because um, when they modernized the, you know, the post-crisis timeline, when they modernized the DC characters, initially they were just kind of introduced like their uh, you know, a modern version of how we know them, right? Their sort of standard origin story, but in a modern setting, um, with kind of modern sensibilities, and definitely the tone of um, the kinds of villains and issues they were going up against were also current tone, right? Um, but it wouldn't be until I think recently, because as these characters have aged, it's like, all right, well, you know, we got to make Superman and Batman. They can't be young anymore; they're aging. We got to bring in like a new generation of like heroes that the readership could get behind, and so they've kept Batman and Superman as like sort of the senior, you know, uh, veterans of the story. But then they also brought in like Damian Wayne. They also brought in like Jonathan Kent, right? Um, so like our heroes have had kids, and these kids are now grown to the point where they can kind of be, uh, I guess, fill the shoes of their previous generation or their parents. But you know, this concept, which kind of was like more recent, um, was explored way back. You know, the origin of these the Silver Age story here. So I really love this book, the cover at least. Superman, will you tell your super brat to leave my son alone? And then you got, he's literally called the Kal-El Jr. or Super Boy or Super Son of Superman. And it's not even like Bat Kid or Super Kid. It's like Sons of Superman and Batman. So it's kind of cool. And yeah, decent condition on this one. Put it at a good 4.5, 5.0 around there, mid grade for sure. But maybe even a higher. I think if, like with a good press and stuff, this would look pretty decent. But yeah, that's a great one right there. And this one I felt really fortunate to pick up. Again, this is kind of in that mid grade category. I think I picked this up for like I want to say $10 or $8, somewhere around there. But it's the Robin slapping panel, the famous internet meme. So this is key because it has that Batman slapping Robin, uh, and that's been just um, kind of popularized through the internet for when someone's just being a dumbass, right? That's the meme for someone being a dumbass. And this is also just a great comic book. It's like one of those rare. I mean, I think this is the first appearance of the Kryptonite Batarang, right? Superman is Zeus, Batman is Hades, Aquaman is Poseidon, Wonder Woman is Hera, Lord Darkseid is Kronos. What's up, RB? Um, yeah, if you're talking about the Greek mythology, right? Is Zeus? Yeah, Zeus and all these like gods are Greek gods. So yeah, um, these are based on the Greek mythology. What's up, fanboy? Hey, so yeah, you're not going on tomorrow, I guess. You had a fun Halloween night. Hope only got all the candy in the neighborhood. uh, so yeah, I was explaining. I was supposed to go trick or treating with the whole family, but I got caught up at work. Ended up late, and so missed it. Uh, they went and had fun, and then I kind of just got out too late and met them at home, so didn't get a chance to trick or treat, but it was all good. Leo came back with like a lot of candy. Looks like he had fun because there were a bunch of his friends at the mall there too, so it would have just been this us hanging out with, uh, you know, his school friends. And anyway, again, I would have loved to have partaken in that, but just one of those um, unfortunate event, kinds of unexpected type things that occurred. All right, so there we go. World's Finest 153. That's a big one. I love this book. This is a nice book. Um, I think in terms of collectability and the legs on this one has a lot of potential there. As just being a collector, a favorite among collectors to be just because of that the the Dick Grayson slapping panel, right? This is another fun one, and you know, I think there's a lot of speculation as to uh, around whether what James Gunn will do with Batmite and Mr. Mxyzptlk. Mr. Mxyzptlk is Mxyzptlk. Uh, these are two characters, that were just favorites, fan favorites during the Silver Age, right? And I think it's safe to speculate that because if you look at modern comic books, Batmite and Mxyzptlk are have been introduced in the most recent run of World's Finest, and they I think they're um, just fun because they're from a different dimension and they just kind of pop up and they have these sort of magical powers and there's sort of a comedic element to. I mean, they were always more of like a comic element from their genesis, but even in today's tone, like I'm mentioning, like even in the modern tone of comic books, um, you can bring them in and make the book entertaining, like readable. It's not just going to be some kind of nonsensical type story. It'd just be like, oh, you've got these like dimensional imps. You know, they're playing tricks, they're doing things, they're causing issues, and that's always, I guess, something to be welcomed in comic books. And anyway, this is just an issue where Mitzelpilk shows up. Mitzelpilk, Mitzelpilk. I'm gonna just say Mitzelpilk. Mitzelpilk is here at the jail. He's turned all the uh, criminals, the I'm just blanking on the all the what would you call them, like prisoners? Yeah, all the prisoners. Um, he's giving them like Superman powers. They're just kind of like having a ball here, just beating up and showing off their Superman powers there. And Superman's like, "Great Krypton. That imp from the fifth dimension has used his magical powers to turn every one of these prisoners into a Superman." Now, this book is in fantastic shape. Again, I would put this in the 5.55 maybe category. It just is really, really. I mean, this could be like a 6.5 even. It's just there's just not a lot, and the staples look fantastic. Um, there are little color breaks, so it did have its like issues, but I think it got pressed, and they're just really minute. Can't really see creases wrinkling. There's a little color breaks, so somebody really went out of their way to clean and press this one, and it just looks fantastic. So yeah, I would think this could get anywhere from like a 5.5 to a 6.5, but it's in that range. Pretty nice book. All right, and that was Superman 148. Kurt Swan. Good. A lot of Kurt Swan goodness here. I think, in fact, most of this has been Kurt Swan art. Now, this one, outside of some writing and kind of like, I guess, sort of some a dented like corner here, is in absolutely fabulous. In fact, that could get pressed out. Just a little color break there would be the remnant after the press. But yeah, there's a little bit of like, I guess some like color breaks here, some, you know, spine ticks here because I think it got crunched here on the spine area. And then there's some writing. Somebody wrote stuff in ballpoint ink. So you got that. But all in all, the condition of this book just is fantastic. So if you take all those flaws out, um, it's well, there's a little corner crease there too. So it doesn't break color though. So again, with the press, that would press out really cleanly. I'm going to show you the corner there. You can see the indent, but it doesn't break color. So again, with a good press here, we're looking at, I think if you took all the ink and again, that corner, if that corner issue wasn't there, this would be like a VF copy. And even with all the issues, I still think you're looking at a Fine Plus copy. So, somewhere around like, I'm going to say like at, at best a 7, at least like a 6. So anywhere from a 6 to a 7 here. on this copy. It's just, and it's such a, it showcases just how selfless Superman is, but in the context of who he is, that selflessness being, kind of um, reflected in what a child would do. And here he is at the orphanage, and of course, he's just using his powers to give the, give the orphans, um, you know, just make their lives little bit more enjoyable. And so, yeah, this is just great. We got this great Supergirl appearance as well. Just love everything. You get this pink cover. You never see pink covers with the blue, yellow Action Comics. So that's it's just beautiful, kind of color framing, and yeah. And again, another super baby, super boy or super kid, super toddler. I guess that's what he is in this one. Um, no, yeah. Oh, Supergirl's referring to him as super baby. So another super baby. All right, here is our other win from Codex Station. Uh, and this book is very beat up. In fact, it's very low grade. I'd put it at like a 1.8, somewhere around there. It's just got little chips missing out of the book right there. Uh, Someone just kind of drew all over the cover. So you've got, ink marks on the characters there. Spine is just, I mean, I think the cover's detached, creasing everywhere. It's just not a good looking book. But at the same time, this is Brave and the Bold, number 57, is it? And it's the first appearance of Metamorpho and all the characters associated with Metamorpho. So, pretty big book. I did like the way they. Uh, I did like. I don't think the casting on Metamorpho was good, because the act, nothing against the actor who played Metamorpho, but that's not Metamorpho, right? Metamorpho's not this like timid. Like, the guy just had too soft of a voice. His physique wasn't what you would consider Metamorpho. But with that being said, I liked how they introduced and how they manifested what Metamorpho was in the movie. It wasn't this standard origin story, but then again, we assume that this origin is part of the movie character's origin. We just kind of get introduced to him in the setting that we do, and Luther understands what his powers are, and is kind of manipulating him to eventually be this weapon against Superman. So all of that was great. It just, again, a little bit of, I think, comic book. It's accurate in the sense of the design and the powers of the character. It's inaccurate in the sense of the overall look, the casting could have been better. So I'm kind of nitpicking, but um, I thought Metamorpho in terms of the casting could have been better. But all in all, it was very consistent with who the character is. That was good. His costume wore, yeah, he dressed, yeah. right? Oh, you're talking about Ollie. Okay, so he dressed as a Yeti. Was it hot? I'm assuming it was hot down in Texas still. I might be getting another first parasite. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'm you. All right. Uh, I guess you're me in terms of like in Superman. All right. Um, this one felt like a really big win because when I first initially picked up these books, it, I didn't really calculate what I had spent. But when I went back, like kind of looked at all the pickups, I basically made like the $2 pickup, or like what, sorry, the 25-cent pickups, the dollar bin pickups, the $2 bin pickups. I kind of calculated all that as like, okay, let's just put that as dollar pickups and then do the math on what we spent all in all minus the dollar pickups for the bigger pickups. And this book again, kind of distributing what was spent, we ended up paying about, I want to say, $7 for this book, which is a little nutty to me, given its condition and just it has all the elements of what I want in a comic book. I mean, not to say it's my favorite comic book, but in terms of like what I collect and what I look for and what's there, it has all the elements. And let's just kind of go through what it is. First off, it's a Silver Age DC book, uh, and it's an 80-page Superman giant. Okay, so just starting off right there, Silver Age 80-page giant Superman, number 212. And I was explaining yesterday, Neil Adams, he gets on Superman title from 204 to like 220 something, just every issue. And it's just a glorious cover run. Uh, Now he does ends up doing more for Superman, but in terms of like consistent, he's doing every cover uh, month to month. It's that run that's really super impressive, and this is part of that run in issue 212. So obviously we got Superman, 80-page giant, Silver Age, that that Neil Adams run. So it's one of my favorite artists as well. And Neil Adams is doing Superman, Supergirl, and of course Super Baby on the covers. So you got Super Baby album, you've got Super Baby reprint stories in the pages of this 80-page giant. You got Supergirl teasing Superman about his baby photos, and you just get this lovely Neil Adams Supergirl profile there. Just fantastic stuff. I mean, now, and this is also a very beautifully conditioned book. It's got one kind of corner crease here that breaks color. It's got another little color break there. But all in all, its spine is still intact. Not a lot of spine wear. Corners are sharp. Colors vibrant. Back is very clean. I mean, this is just for $7. That is just ridiculous to me, given the condition and just beautiful look of this book. So, again, this is part of my haul from All American Comics. Gonna give a shout out to my guy down there, Jason, and man, Jason really hooked me up this summer with books like this. Like for $7, man, I just feel like he just gave me such a great deal. Like I was taking advantage of him or something. But how awesome is that? Absolutely love that this book here right here. Sticking with Neil Adams, this was an eBay purchase, and I got this for like $15 when all is said and done. Um, no, more like $17 maybe, something like, with shipping and everything is closer to like 17 or $18. But man, is this a glorious book. Now, it does have its condition issues. I'm going to start in the back to show you. All in all, this is like a four, no, 3.5 copy. 3.5 copy, yeah. Well, no, maybe a 3.0 copy. Well, I guess it depends on how you see the creasing here. Um, yeah, but I'll give it like a 3.0 copy. So let's start with the issues here. First off, we've got this beautiful wraparound cover, and we've got some creasing that goes all the way through the book. You can see it right there. It's like somebody had folded that, like, and it's a really clean fold. You know, it goes just straight parallel down the edge of the book, and then you've got some other minute. So you know, someone had like folded this or done something with it, but there's a lot of uh, creasing there at the edge on the back. There's a lot of color break and some spine ticks and wear on ultimately it's a square bound book. The square bound part of it is still intact, but you've got these big sort of creases and color breaks on the spine. You can see it right there. You also see it right here. You can see the various. That one's really color break extends really far out there. You can see that one right there. But they're all throughout the spine there. But the spine is surprisingly still intact. You can see the writing on the spine, DC 100 page, super special. Now, this is 100 action packed pages of story and art from cover to cover on, again, stories revolving around the golden age. I think this is where, like, stories around the golden age era of collector characters meeting their silver age, kind of like, you know, where you have like multiverse versions of golden age meeting silver age versions of the character. um and that's kind of like what's kind of littered throughout this book, those kinds of interactions and exchanges. So again, on the back you've got these a mixture of silver age and golden age heroes there, and then at the forefront on the front cover you've got the silver age heroes, and just a nice wraparound by, of course, Neil Adams. I just love this front cover here. You got the Trinity, the spotlight, and then again all the golden age heroes and the versions in the back, as well as the silver age versions on the front. um, this was a book when I kind of figured out a book like this existed. I just I whenever I like learn of a book and then I think, man, that's a book I want, I kind of just have to get it. And so when I went on eBay, I was looking for, you know, a decent condition within kind of my price range type listing, and I went with the best one I thought. This, even though it has the issues on the back, like, it just is beautiful. Look at the spine is intact still, and um, yeah, not a lot of issues. The back has issues, but the front, that is apparent. So, um, give me that all day long. Neil Adams, This is a 100 pager, and again, a lot of the elements, this hit a lot of the little check marks here. This one does as well. Neil Adams 100 pager, DC Silver Age. Oh, no, this is Bronze Age, maybe. No, it's Silver Age. DC, it was 1971, so early Bronze Age. You've got all the Justice League sort of uh, DC, like popular characters there from the Silver or late Silver Age, kind of on display there. Um, I love the Wonder Woman there, man. That is just something about Wonder Woman there that just is this floats your boat. Come on. All right, then we got World's Finest, 142. This is key because it's the first, and I think that we have, I think, a real possibility of seeing a composite Superman. This is the first appearance of composite Superman, which is this amalgam. I guess he's officially like a robot, right? Um, and he combines all of the positive traits of both Superman and Batman. So he's just loaded with powers here. Um, this one is a solid, I want to say 3.5 to 4 copy. I think, but no, that's lower than 3.5. So I'm gonna put it at like a 2.5. Partly because I think so. There's some detachment here, maybe some splitting along the cover, but there's a good amount of foxing or staining on the spine there. So that's gonna bring it down. You can see that black or the gray discoloration there along the edges as well. Yeah, so I'd put this at like a 3, and so it's probably like a VG minus grade, maybe a good plus range. But first, composite Superman, so that's pretty cool. All right, moving right along. This one also from All American Comics. This one we ended up paying around $7 as well, which is ridiculous to me as well. This one is in really good shape. I'd say, uh, we're probably looking at like a 7.0, 7.5 copy. Probably could benefit from a press and a clean, but as you can see, it's pretty clean for the age. As you can see, not a lot of creasing. Corners are relatively still sharp, or like, they're a little rounded, but all in all, nothing gross there. Again, no creasing. The the real reason this probably wouldn't get a 7.0, because I think, again, with a press, uh, just a very light clean and a press would get this a 7.0, except there is a puncture there. It breaks through the paper. You can see it. Like a tear. Just a little, you can see it right there. Just a little, it folds over, but you could kind of like get underneath it and lift it up, and it would be maybe a little chunk there that's ripped on the cover. Very minute, so if I hold it up like this, you have to really look hard to see where the break. There you go. I'm getting in real close. You can now see where it's kind of like torn but it's flapped over so you can't really see, but you can see the tear there. But yeah, that's the issue with the book. But it's this great, I think this is the first team up between Brainiac and Luthor, so it's a big book. No, it's not their first team up. I'll have to look that up. But I think it's one of their early, I think it is their first team up, in fact. Because Brainiac gets introduced in the Silver Age. And I think this is the first time they kind of, at least their first cover appearance. I'll have to verify if it's their first actual team up or appearance together. But man, uh, you got Brainiac and Luthor fighting, and man, this is a book I think well positioned because we got the reveal that these two are the next movies. So I would imagine this is just on a lot of people's lists too as a speculation book there. So we'll see what happens. All right, well, getting to the bigger books, I guess. This book is just, it's, I think this is my favorite Kurt Swan book in the collection. Gonna have to put it number one. I mean, I got a lot of great Kurt Swan books, but this just, it's just a aesthetically pleasing cover. Like you could take all the word bubbles and everything out of the book, um, and just kind of put the image there. It's just a fun image. You got Superman on this wire here, like a telephone wire, and he's balancing on the telephone wire on one finger, and he, again, just the image alone is just cool because you could do it this way too, right? Um, but then you had all the elements here. You had featuring when the world forgot Superman. So some kind of amnesia happens, no one remembers him, and he's trying to convince everybody, hey man, I'm Superman, don't you guys remember me? And all the cops are like, who's that guy? Why is he wearing a blue pajamas, basically? So, just a fun book. And again, the artistry of Swan here with the buildings, the the uh, the depth perception there, that he's high up on this wire and people are down low and all that. That contrast of depth is also very impressive. Hard to really achieve on a comic book, but I just feel like Swan does it so well in this through this image. It's just genius. And then you got the colors and everything. So just such a classic. This is a classic book. 12 cent in the box there. Yeah, this this was part of the collection I was gifted, and so absolutely love this addition to my collection. All right, well, again, this next book, I want to say it's like the highest condition Silver Age Superman book in my collection. It's the highest grade because I honestly think this will come back an 8.5 or higher. It all depends on how the graders look at this. One might, and it is a very noticeable flaw, but outside of that, I mean, given the age of this book, there's just not a lot wrong with this book. Maybe a couple of minute um, stress lines along the staple, just along one staple, but it's really not that noticeable either. And then a little corner crease. I want to say it's about a centimeter in terms of length, maybe not even that, 3/4 of a centimeter. But it does break color. But all in all, it's just the corners are still sharp, color's vibrant, no creasing. It's just, I'm going to show you the back first. So again, I think even in this condition with all the little micro flaws, it's an 8.5. But depending on the grader, I think the grader, given the age of this book, could um, be less harsh in terms of the uh, the faults of this book, and just, I mean, it could get a 9.0. I think it has the legs or the potential to get a 9.0. And I'm just gonna try to, first off, here's the corner issue. You can see the color break right there. And then there's some stress lines along the staple here, like I was saying. Right there, you can kind of see some stress there and there. Nothing on the top staple, and the spine is just really, look how clean that spine is. Just again, aside from those little very minute stress lines along the staple, very clean spine. And like I mentioned, the color's vibrant, glossy, just has all the markings of a high grade book. And again, I'm not interested in grading this book or whatever, but I am curious, right? Like, I look at it as like, this is an 8.590, but to kind of get that validation that, yeah, this is a 9.0 copy or maybe even higher. um, it's just having that validation that you kind of want to see in grading, right? Like, you think you know what the grade is, and you have 100 other people kind of grade the book and let you know what they think it is, but until it actually comes back with a, like a grade from this one of the services, it's just, it could be, has potential. Those are, they're just speculative type grades. But yeah, this is, and I love this cover. It's just like they're faking Clark Kent's death here. Another brilliant Neil Adams cover from that Superman run that we alluded to earlier, the numeral run, 204 to 220 or 221. Just a brilliant run for Neil. All right. All right, I've got two more books to show off, or three books, I should say. And these are signed books. So we're going to end with signature books. And yeah, I got both of these books for, I think I got both of these books for like $40. So we're talking like $20 each. Or no, maybe I got them for like 45 or something. But anyway, two books for 45. But both books are triple signed. So we're going to start with this Batman 613. And I don't even have to tell you who signed it. Just look, if Jim Lee. They're just, the signatures are just so recognizable at this point. But these three collaborators, they're like lifelong kind of partners on comic book related work. And they now kind of do the whole con circuit together, or CGC signings together, because so many people just like, they want the create, the cover artists to sign, and that's exactly what you have here. So triple sign Lee, Williams, and Sinclair. And then again, the other half of that $45 eBay purchase is 612, which is just such a good cover, man. One of Jim Lee's best right there in your ear. So yeah, that was huge pickup this summer. And then this one, I got Jeff to sell this to me for, I think we paid $37. We just gave him all the cash. I'm saying, like, you either take the cash and give me the book, or I come back with. I was thinking either or that. If you don't sell it to me, I'm going to come back with more cash down the road. But luckily, he accepted it. Um, Again, I think we paid like $37. I got a couple, like five, like dollar books along with it. He just threw in some dollar books. Um, but so all in all, it was around 35 to $37 that we paid for this book. And yeah, I got a great deal on it. It's for what it is. Um, we have now. I'm sure there are other copies, signed copies, but there are no signed copies on eBay. So for all I know, I may have the only signed book copy of this book, as far as I know. But I'm sure there are signed copies out there. They're just probably not, they're not like being sold, or um, they're scarce to the point where you just wouldn't see them just kind of being openly sold everywhere. But you can definitely get the book, but you just can't get the signature on the book. And that's what's key about this. I think if you're a Joe Cooper collector, which a lot of people are, this would be the book you'd want kind of signed in your collection, which leads me to believe there are a lot of copies that are signed. They're just probably, again, in people's collections and not really for sale. So we have DC Special number 5. This is a collection of Joe Kubert stories and artwork, and it's again a special comic book featuring Joe Kubert's work. So a lot of I'm just going to assume a lot of Sergeant Rock there. Uh, you know, some of these other characters, but you gotta remember Joe Kubert has just been, he's just one of those guys who got their start in the golden age and got the privilege of working through the copper age, and I'm sure even into the modern age, and then his sons carry on his legacy today as um, two of the more veteran artists to have worked on a lot of stuff. And then again, there's the Joe Kubert School of Art. So they're just, Kubert's legacy is influencing an entire generation of people getting into comic book art and the industry. So, yeah, just feel really privileged to have this book. Um, it was signed in July 2nd July 12th of 1992 by Joe Kubert. And it's his sort of showcase issue as well for the DC Special. So yeah, the fact that I found this book and then I kind of haggled my way to getting it for like $35 is just ridiculous to me, but I'll take it. And there you go. we are finally done with the Summer of Superman books. Just going through them. I know for those of you stuck through what I think it was like a series of 7 videos or something. This may be the eighth, but if you stuck around for the last 2 months going through these books that I picked up this summer with me, thank you. Yeah, fanboy, thanks. Austin, uh, Ron from yesterday, and then of course the guys who joined tonight are B, Zeke, Lem. You guys are appreciated. Um, so as you can see, it was a very good and productive summer of Superman. Um, I find my summers to be now kind of dedicated to these very focused hauls, which I like. But I'm at a point where like I haven't picked up a book. I don't think. Well, I know I take that back. I just recently got some books from Half Price Books, but the pickups have been few and far between. I definitely am not, you know, picking up anything these days. Um, I am wanting a book. I'm wanting the uh, release of Batman Deadpool, or no, sorry, Batman Wolverine. It's a crossover, and I think Jim Lee. Uh, there's a variant where Jim has the Batman Wolverine cover. I think they've teased also that they're going to do a crossover with X Men and Justice League or something to that effect. Maybe it's the Teen Titans. But how cool would that be if Jim Lee gave us a variant cover there? Because it's his first, it would be his like first X Men since the 90s. So these kinds of things are well worth like getting. So I'm kind of like waiting for that to drop and then hopefully find it at a discount somewhere. I don't want to pay full price for the book, but I do want the book. So it may be one of those like things we just kind of find on the hall one of these days in a dollar bin. That's what I'm hoping. But I definitely want the book. Um, and yeah, I had fun this summer. It's been a while. I mean, I always have fun collecting or going on these hauls in the books, but it's been a while since like um, I was so Superman focused, where it's like I'm, 90-80% of what I'm picking up is Superman. It's just it rarely is that. Um, but this year definitely that's where my mindset was. That's where the focus was, and the results speak for themselves. I mean, you can see all of this was like Superman related pickups. So um, I think you're gonna see more of that next summer, right? But the issue holding us back is we got to purge some volume from our collection. Um, I'm this close to kind of like being like, you know what, F it. I'm gonna create another section, maybe add like 3 more long box or short boxes of books. And this way, at least if I add just even 3 more short boxes, this gives me at least another 2, 3 years of latitude to pick up stuff without necessarily having to get rid of stuff. So I'm like this close to doing that. Just like I'm expanding. I told myself I'd keep my collection to what I have here. In terms of this. Alexa, off, please. Um, so I'm having to again. I'd love to get rid of some of this overflow. I don't necessarily need it, But um, come next summer, if I don't have a place to, I'm already over limit. So even if I give away all these books, I'm still at my limit. And so I just basically have to create more space. And there's definitely more stuff I want. So I'm at a point where like I just have to create space and justify it. And I'm like, you can see I'm like doing the calculus in my head right now and justifying it. And once I kind of like, all right, we have space, we're gonna have 3 more boxes. Once that decision is made, which I kind of have right here already, I have, you're not seeing it, but I have 3 short boxes as part of like the extension of the collection. Um, I think we're just going to take it 1 box at a time. So rather than saying finding more space and all this, I'm just going to add 1 more short box of comics for next year. Okay. That's what we'll do. And we'll just stick to that. And then maybe we won't even fill up the short box, but at least we'll have some latitude. And then again, the focus is going to be on Superman books, maybe bigger books. Uh, but yeah, just having the the space and freedom to do it without kind of micromanaging what we're picking up. So there you go. Kind of made a decision there, and I think this also helps me uh, really justify going to the Grid City Comic Show in 2 weeks. I think I've just made the decision to go to that. So got to get a ticket, kind of plan around that. And now, in terms of trading and trying to get rid of these books, that's not as much of a focus now. I still want to trade. So if, again, your community members in my region and you want to meet up and um, deal books, let me know. I'm always down to do that. But for now, even if I don't trade, I'm going to enjoy picking up books next summer. So, and okay, again, in 2 weeks in Tacoma as well. So, got some hauls coming up. We'll just leave it at that. Um, I trust myself not to get into kind of a hoarding situation, but that remains to be seen. um, but yeah, I mean, we have space, so I could even make space here behind me. Got a lot of space kind of devoted to like books and knickknacks here and there. There's a lot of space down here that we're not utilizing that could house short boxes instead of books. So a lot we can do with space still. So um, that's how we'll do it. We'll just do it that way. All right. Well, it's getting late. I just want to thank everybody who kind of tuned in tonight and hung out. Fanboy, hopefully I'll see you on your stream at some point. I know you're taking a break tomorrow, but looking forward to next week. But yeah, um, go Dodgers. Kind of want the Dodgers to win tomorrow. Pivotal game 7. It's the determining game, I should say, the final game of the series. So we'll see. I think Otani's pitching tomorrow, game 7. I mean, that's kind of what they envisioned he would do if he came to the Dodgers. And man, is he just living up to it. I mean, take them to the World Series, and now he's like pitching and hitting in game 7. It's like a fairy tale. And I'm sure we'll get some kind of fairy tale ending, whether it's for the Jays or whether it's again Otani as king of the world. Something's got to give. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, we need to get on. Let's do the Kryptonian Council. Let's do that soon. I will message you, and the only limitation is like us hopping on was easier when I had my laptop and I had the StreamYard set up, but I don't have any of that anymore. So I don't know if there's a way for me to join from my phone or if you can set up the room, but that's the only limitation. And I need to, like, yeah. You don't think he should pitch tomorrow? No? He's better rested compared to the game game four. He kind of, again, they had that long, like, they basically played two games, right? They had an 18 inning game, and then he pitched like 6 hours later. Or no, that's an exaggeration, but he pitched like, he had, I'm sure he got a lot of sleep, but he pitched the very next day. And I think that got to him a little bit, you know, because people don't understand, like, not that he's playing a defensive position, but he's having to bat every day, run the bases when he's playing, and then kind of just flip the switch and then go into like pitching mode. Um, that I just can't imagine asking a, if you were to ask a pitcher to, and then not to say the pitchers can't do it, because you've had uh, scenarios where pitchers are pitching in the World Series and they get like a key hit, or they have, like Oral Hershiser is a great example, right? He pitches a complete game. I think he drives in some of the runs in that World Series game. Um, and you've had other pitchers kind of like step up to the mound and get a key hit, or sometimes even a home run in those situations. Like, you see it happen, but um, you know, typically the pitcher is an easy out, and the pitcher is just not focused on hitting. That's not what they're expected to do. So, to have Otani kind of like come in and do both, like pitch and then hit, and do them to where they can win you the game, like have a performance where he's literally winning you the game by himself. Um, like, that's got to be really difficult. So, again, I think having the fatigue kind of set in after that game, and not have, because you get, your legs have to be fresh for you to really have control and command. And I'm just kind of think like, man, how fresh can you be after like having an 18 inning game, right? It's just like, but yeah, we have a situation here, kind of similar. He had a game today. Not that he overexerted himself today, but you know, he's just been playing every day pretty much. So it's late in the season. How much does he have in the tank? Is what my concern is, and I agree. If you think that's the reason he shouldn't pitch, um, then yeah, I agree with you. But as a fan, and this is completely selfish, right? As a fan, I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to see, because we've had glimpses of, like, in the NLCS, that ridiculous game where he like strikes out 10 batters and hits 3 home runs. Like, you don't think a guy could top that. And then a few days later, in that 18 inning game, he's hitting 2 home runs, 2 doubles. He's walked 5 times. That's like 9 at bats. nine, uh, you know, nine basically on base plate appearances. And I mean, who does that, right? It's just a weird. It's like a almost like a video game stat line. Like nine at bats, you just would never have nine at bats ever, let alone get on base every single, and then he's looked human. Like, he just had a horrible game 4, pitching wise, and he was getting hit. He left the game in a situation where the bullpen just got tagged for runs, so he ended up losing the game. He also didn't do anything from a batting perspective. He struck out a bunch of times. Um, it's just, and then he had a horrible game yesterday. The entire Dodgers team, the last game in LA, Blake Snell just like crapped the bed, and I mean it was just awful. They looked horrible, but they came back today, and so I'm just like, kind of the stage is set for him to either really shine, or you know, the goat has a there's a double entendre to the goat. You could either be like the greatest of all time goat, or you could be like the goat, meaning like you're the reason we lost. You dropped the ball. You made the play that made us lose. That, like, he could literally be either the goat or the goat of that game, and that's just, I mean, that's must watch TV in my opinion. It's just like the whole series hangs on, potentially like one guy's performance. And baseball should never be that. Baseball should never be about one guy. It's about the whole team component of the game. But man, Otani could just pitch lights out and then hit a home run, and there you go. That's it, right? That's all you really need from Otani, from a game standpoint. Like, if he pitches a complete game shutout and just hits a home run, that's the formula to win. Um, and he has the ability to do that. That's what's scary, right? He has the ability to, like, come into a game, at least, pitch 7 innings, and then again, if the Dodgers had just a middle of the run bullpen right now, you could run him out for 7, go to the bullpen and close it out and win. But of course, the Dodgers, man, Roki Sasaki tonight, he almost shit the bed tonight. I was That kid. First of all, he's a kid. Okay, let's not forget he's a kid. But that kid um, needs to get his head straight. His problem is not physical or talent; it's mental. I mean, he just can't execute pitches, and it's because he's having this, like, internal conversation, um, that's, I don't think, mentally healthy. I think he needs to take this off season to just really, like, I think I don't think he's mentally fine. I think, yeah, there's some issues he's still dealing with, because there's a bit of tragedy in his family history, unfortunately. But until he gets over that, until he gets, like, he comes to terms with that, he is not going to be a good pitcher in the major leagues. Um, and it's kind of sad to see. Like, today, I think Roberts did the right thing to take him out when he did, because he would have. in that situation, I think he just would have imploded. Like just again, uh, cost the Dodgers the game. He almost did, but if he didn't get pulled out for Glasnow in that last inning, man, it was not looking good. And so I just would not trust him in a late inning situation ever again. Uh, you know, he did not look good. Um, and he's got all the thing is that he's crazy talented. He's got like 101 mile per hour fastball. He's got one of the nastiest splits in baseball. He, uh, when his command is on, he's again got elite stuff. But if you can't command the, and you're just throwing like, you're just like, it's like the only thing you can command is like a meatball down the middle. That's not pitching. And again, he's just missing all over the place. Uh, he just, and he doesn't go to his good stuff. He doesn't trust himself enough to go to his good stuff and execute the good stuff. And kind of played out today. I mean, it's frustrating to watch. It really is frustrating to watch because he could come in and shut them out and get strikeouts, but instead he misses the plate, gets him to situations where he has to throw a strike, and then the hitters are like at that point he's basically lost the chess match at that point, right? He's like, okay, you know what's coming here, hit it. And they make strong contact with it. So yeah, he needs to not play in game 7 first and foremost. And then in the off season, the Dodgers need to like get him some help, man. The guy looks like he's a deer caught in headlights in this American setting. So either he just needs to spend more time out here in the US and just get comfortable with America, um, and his life here, and understand, okay, I need to make this cultural transition and get acclimated to this and just get mentally right. Because if he can't do any of those things, he's just gonna be one of the you know he's just gonna be one of the worst baseball tragedies uh, in the history of the game. He already get. I mean, they gave him what 200, 300 million to play this season, and he didn't even play most of the season. He spent it working on mechanics and minor league ball, and then he comes. Yes, he's had a couple great postseason moments. Don't get me wrong, but in those like games, they were not like shutout innings. They're like kind of nail biting type situations. Got lucky, but man, today it almost backfired for the Dodgers. So I don't think you're going to see him again this postseason. And the Dodgers have obviously invested a lot of money in him for the future, so they need to just get him right and get him starting games, not closing games. And he needs to really attack with a strong mental mindset. Yeah, it should be a good game, man. All right, well, yeah, let's figure something out. I'm hoping you can do the StreamYard and I can just hop on with you, and you can kind of host. But yeah, until I get a laptop, I gotta do this phone setup thing, which I hate. I don't like this at all because you can't really get a good back view or anything. I just like my old setting. I want to go back to my old setting for this, but um, I guess I'll just have to wait a little bit. But yeah, thanks everybody for kind of tuning in. Um, I will be, I guess, kind of taking video of the Grit City Comics show when I think I am gonna go to that show with maybe $50 or so and see what we pick up. But I'll let you know. You guys will be informed of how we're planning and doing things, and we'll go from there. All right, peace out, guys. See you in the next one.